might be wearing a Detroit Lions shirt, but we are not in Michigan today. We are in the incredible state of Georgia. So Georgia is different than Michigan in many ways. Obviously it's hotter, but also mainly the soil here is red, and it's just very different than soil in Michigan. As you can see, it's like hard. It's not very moist and loamy, dark soil that we have in Michigan, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's just different. And if you want to farm in Georgia, you have to know how to work with the ecology, which is mainly the soil. The soil here is red, and the reason that it's red is mainly because of high iron content and weathering. So there's like a lot of iron-rich minerals in Georgia's soil, and they oxidize when they're exposed to air and water, much like how metal rusts. So there's a lot of iron oxides, a lot of hematite, I think it's called. I was just researching this just now. And there's a lot of chemical weathering as well, because Georgia's warm climate leads to a lot of intense chemical weathering over time as the rocks break down. And lots of nutrients and minerals like silica get leached out, but iron remains in the soil and it accumulates near the surface, which is actually good for trees, which is why the trees here are so massive. Most of the trees that I've seen here are huge, and like if you just look at the thickness of the diameter of this tree right here, it's insane. So we got this giant tree by the pigeon coop, and the pigeons are here. Beautiful, beautiful pigeons. And they're actually they're laying eggs, and the eggs are being raised into full-size pigeons all right here. It's an awesome system going on here. After hearing me kind of describe the soil here in Georgia and how it compares to soil in Michigan, you might be thinking that this soil is just terrible and it sucks and Georgia is just not the place to farm. Well, it's not really true. You just have to know how to work with the land, because there's a lot of crops that can grow in abundance in Georgia. The main one being peanuts. Peanuts can grow, and by the way, you will never see these type of plants at this size in Michigan unless they're like being kept indoors or like in a greenhouse. It's just the climate gets too cold for plants like this. Just an amazing it's just a whole different set of species here down south in the US. Very different from the northern US, if you know what you're looking at. And but yeah, the main crops grown in Georgia are peanuts. Georgia is the #1 producer of peanuts in the world, and peanuts actually thrive in sandy loam and red clay when well drained. And I was actually working on the land here, and I saw how the soil kind of sticks to my fingers, and that's because of the clay, the high levels of clay in the soil. And it's really cool it's like I'm on a different planet, because that doesn't really happen, at least not as often on our land in Michigan. And another main crop that is grown in Georgia is cotton. Historically and currently, it's a major crop. It grows well in well-drained red clay soils. And a third main crop is obviously corn. Corn is just a very resilient, adaptable plant, especially when you're genetically modifying it with biotechnology, genetics. These days, they can grow fast in a wide range of landscapes. So corn is common in both like commercial farming and home gardens. It needs proper fertilization, but thrives in Georgia's climate. And so Georgia is a state where added input fertilization is actually beneficial, I would say. Like, it's all situational. Many landscapes, many soil types would actually benefit, I would say, from some added fertilizer, the proper types of fertilizer. And so it's not really right to say fertilizing is bad and there's always better natural methods to do, like using manure. In certain situations, fertilizer can help the whole nitrogen cycle flow, just create like a cycle of nutrient flow. Obviously, I don't think pesticides and herbicides are good in any situation, but sometimes there's no alternative. It's like if you don't have the right species of bug to combat the species that's eating your crops, it's like what else are you going to do, right? So we just have to work toward understanding the land, understanding solutions. I do think we should be diving more into finding natural solutions. Like Farmer Will Harris used a species of bug, a beetle, to eradicate another species of bug that was actually like destroying his crops. And so he got that bug imported to him. He talked about this on the Joe Rogan podcast. So if you want to hear it directly from him, I recommend you watch that whole podcast. But yeah, he released a bug that literally got mailed to him, and that bug, he didn't buy just one. I think he bought like a small culture population, and it like spread throughout his land and took out the insect that was actually eating his crops, because that's what they ate. As you can see, there's a caterpillar right there. There's a lot of cool animals here, a lot of animals native to Georgia that I don't get to see up in Michigan. There's 2 cats on this property that are always catching stuff, snakes, lizards. One of the cats, they actually trapped a shrew, a little shrew, and releases it. The shrew runs off, catches it again, traps it, releases it. So that's what a cat does, you know. Kind of felt bad for that shrew, so I kind of like shooed the cat away a little bit and allowed the shrew to escape. But I'm sure the cat's gonna find it again, unfortunately. And so another main crop that can be grown very well here in Georgia is soybeans. So soybeans are also similar to corn, and in the way that you can have it grow in abundance. So it's another major row crop that does well with soil amendments. Tobacco is another one. It's less common than before, but it's still grown in the southern part of the state. Blueberries, pecans, sweet potatoes, lots of crops actually grow pretty well here. Sweet potatoes thrive in well-drained sandy parts of red clay soil. And pecans, Georgia's the leading pecan producer in the US. So their trees do well in clay-rich soils and mild winters. So pecans, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. People can correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. And blueberries. So Georgia's a top producer of blueberries in the US, because blueberries love acidic soil, making them perfect for red Georgia soil. And then obviously livestock, you know, you can graze cattle here. Will Harris down in Bluffton, Georgia, he has a whole herd of cattle that he produces millions of pounds of beef from. So it's certainly possible to rotationally graze cattle in the great state of Georgia. But yeah, I just think it's really beautiful. Like, the soil is like, it's so foreign to me. It feels like I'm on Mars or something, because up in Michigan we do have clay sandy soil in some parts, but it's never red like this in such abundance, you know. And I just think that's really cool. It's making me feel like I'm on Mars. I'm in some Andy Weir novel or something. But there was a lot of wildlife I saw. I wish I was able to capture it, but there's such fleeting moments because you don't really know when they are gonna appear. Let that plane go by. But I will just mention one of the encounters, because there's a lot that's happened. Lizards, snakes, bugs, frogs. We caught a frog last night. This is awesome summer weather, and mixed with thunderstorms, it's going to lead to an abundance of wildlife and biodiversity. So we've been seeing a lot. And yesterday I saw a big bird of prey. It was some sort of hawk or falcon. I think it was a hawk, and it soared over these trees and landed in a branch there. And I didn't bring my binoculars with me, so I don't know what species it was, but I do know for sure it was a bird of prey. And it was just so cool to see that. Yeah, I just wanted to get this video out to share a little bit about ecology and agricultural ecology as it relates to the state of Georgia, because that's where I'm at. Just a little update to my viewers, you know, I will be rebranding the entire channel. So if there's any regular viewers, I just want to give you guys a heads up. I'm going to be rebranding the whole channel. I'm going to call it, I'm not going to be calling it Primordia Science Show anymore, just because there's a lot of syllables in that name and it's just not easy to remember. As much as I love the name, I might do something with that name in the future when I'm in a better position, but I'm trying to make something work right now on YouTube as quick as possible, and I need a more memorable name. So I am going with Wild Origins. Wild Origins, that's right. And I'm going to change the whole profile picture up. So that's just a heads up so regular returning viewers don't get confused. I checked my analytics. I don't have too many returning viewers, which is good. You know, I don't want to upset a large group of people right now because they will be confused. Like if I had a following of like 50,000 people, they'd all be pretty confused. So this is as good a time as any to change my channel up, rebrand it to the direction that I want to head, which is wildlife, ecology, and our connection to it, human connection to nature. That's my jam. That's what I want to be talking about, and that's what you're going to be seeing more of on the channel. So yeah, I hope you guys learned a thing or two about agricultural ecology as it relates down south US climate and soil types. Again, we're in Georgia. I'm here visiting family. But yeah, I thought I'd record a quick one that's not too difficult to edit. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like, leave a comment, you know the deal. Stay tuned for the whole rebranding of the channel. And yeah, until next time, and remember, keep it wild.